just thought I'd drop another review video. This time, the most valuable promotions, all-female card, headlined by Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jacqui-Lee Pryce, former boxer, and I spent many years as a boxing coach and judge. Now, I'm not going to cover the whole card, but first up, Ramla Ali versus Leila Furtado. We saw Ramla Ali come back after a long layoff. I think it was about a year and a half. She's been out of the ring. Ramla Ali was back after a long layoff. She looked pretty good in the beginning, kept her shape. She caught Furtado early on, was a good few quality shots. I'd say Furtado was the aggressor and definitely the busier of the two. It was a bit of a scrappy affair with some very dirty tactics being played out. But the decision went in Ali's favour and she won by unanimous decision. After the fight, people were saying that they thought that Ramla Ali lost. And she defended herself and she said she thinks she won the fight. So I'm probably going to get a bit of backlash for my opinion on this. But listen, I think the fight was close, but I don't think Ali won that fight. When the team watches that fight back, they need to be brutally honest with her. I just don't think it's helpful to be economical with the truth with a fighter, just to kind of stay in favour. I don't think it does anybody any favours. I do know Ramla Ali since the amateurs, and I do think she's a talented fighter, but there kind of has to be... Listen, she's juggling so many balls, and I think that somewhere along the line something is kind of going to drop. In order to kind of progress really well in her boxing career, I think she kind of needs to let go of one of the branches and concentrate fully on boxing, because she does have the talent, and I do think if she knuckles down, she could achieve really great things. People said that Furtado was robbed, but there's also the argument that Ramla Ali has been robbed in the past. So listen, that's boxing. Make sure you stay tuned to hear my thoughts on the main event. Chantel Cameron versus Jessica Kamara for the interim WBC super lightweight title. Firstly, it's really good to see Chantel Cameron back in the ring. I'm going to be honest, I wish I'd seen this fight a couple of years ago. Both fighters were in a competition called Road to Undisputed back in, I think it was 2021. Chantel Cameron ended up fighting Mary McGee and Kaylee Reese. So they didn't actually end up meeting in that competition. But after the competition, both Chantel Cameron and Eddie Hearn said it would be a really, really good matchup for the future. So Cameron was the favourite going into the fight. And she kind of did what Cameron normally does, which is get on the front foot, apply pressure, effective use of the jab, great movement, and she was able to break Kamara's rhythm. Kamara had some success too. She was applying pressure in some of the early rounds, and I've got to kind of give her respect, because she's willing to take a fight, and she takes some tough fights. She really does, and she's game. She doesn't come just to kind of turn up and pick up a wage packet, to be fair. So yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Kamara. But I think overall, Cameron controlled the distance. She was dominant, and she landed some key power shots and won by unanimous decision. Shanika Johnson versus Sharetta Metcalf. What a fight. I mean, firstly, Shanika took that fight at very, very late notice. Metcalf's original opponent was Dina Thorslund. Dina Thorslund pulled out because she's pregnant. And fair play to Shanika, because this woman turned up. She literally turned up. And that kind of shows the importance of staying ready. So firstly, let's talk about the knockdown or no knockdown. So I literally cannot be bothered to explain the knockdown rule. But the long and the short of it is it was a knockdown. Metcalf basically grabbed onto Shanika as she was falling and took her with her. And I don't think, again, I think it was just a natural reaction. I don't think she did it on purpose. But everyone was getting up in their feelings as per usual. One thing I will say is that Metcalf was struggling to kind of not only manoeuvre around the ring, but sometimes she'd sort of get off her work, get off her shots, and then she kind of can't move forward, backward, side to side easily or effortlessly, and her footwork definitely needs some work. That's just fundamentals, and to be honest, I don't even blame her. I blame her trainers, because if nobody's correcting you, the fighter's going to still do the same thing, and they can't always see what they're doing, if all the mistakes they're making, if that makes sense, unless somebody points it out to them. So I'm going to be honest, I think they did her a disservice. I think she's a good little talent, with the right training. She's aggressive, she's got heart. She obviously trained really hard for this fight, and I think she's got natural raw talent, and I think if that's nurtured properly, she'd be a decent little fighter. I really don't think she should give up. I think she should go away, reassess, and come back again. The stoppage was weird. Sorry, but the stoppage was just weird. I really do think that she could have carried on. And again, the argument is you don't want a fighter to take undue punishment, and I get that, but she was asked a question, asked and answered. Are you all right? She's like, clearly okay. And then it was like, no, waved it off. And so I think they could have probably just give her another round or so to just to see how she got on. But what you see on the TV and what you see in the ring is very different. But I'm going to be honest, it did look like it was a bit premature. Before we move on, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when we drop new content. Next up, Ellie Scotney versus Yamalith Mercado in a unified super bantamweight clash. I like both these fighters, to be fair, and I really think that Ellie Scotney is really coming into her own. She's kind of putting all those pieces together, and she's becoming a really nice, entertaining fighter. From the jump, she was applying that front foot pressure, using some nice angle work. And I think it was quite obvious early on that the speed and power lay in Ellie Scotney's hands. Mercado tried to stay with the puncher, which was a huge mistake. I think after exchanges, she should have got on a bike, or at least changed the angles a little bit. So if I recall, in some of her previous fights, she's controlled the space, the tempo, the rhythm. But I think this fight, Scotney was definitely the conductor. I don't know. It almost felt like Mercado let the occasion get to her. But then, having said that, she's been in with Serrano, so Mercado is definitely better mid to long range, but Ellie Scotney was kind of getting the best of the exchanges, or having the last say. Scotney's big overhand right, it couldn't miss. It was right on the button the majority of the night. It was absolutely delicious, to be fair. Every time she chucked it, she put a little bit of spice on it, a little bit of, do you know what I mean? A bit of sprinkles on it. And it was definitely stopping Mercado in her tracks. And she was kind of having to reset and go again. She was definitely breaking down a rhythm. I don't know if the occasion got to Mercado. She didn't start letting go of her hands till the kind of latter part of the fight. And I think she'll really regret that. Just maybe it was an off night, I don't know. Big win for Ellie, and to finish off, what a class act. She dedicated her fight to Georgia O'Connor. What a beautiful moment, to be fair. With Ellie, there's no noise, there's no kind of look at me antics outside of the ring. It's just hard work, patience, humility, and God. I just wanted to quickly mention Tamara Tebow, third professional fight, big win, KO. I met up with her ahead of the fight. If you want to hear her story, I'll drop a link in the comment section, or maybe up here. Savannah Marshall versus Sadasia Green in a super middleweight unification contest. Been a while since we've seen Sav actually in the boxing ring, so it was nice to see her back. No disrespect to Green, but even though Sav's been away a while, she kind of was expected to win this fight. Marshall was finding it quite difficult to find a range in the beginning, but then she kind of sort of warmed up and she started dropping in some beautiful overhead right hands. Initially, Green was getting outboxed by Marshall, but then the tide kind of turned a little bit, and Green was digging deep, definitely digging deep. We all know what Savannah Marshall can do. I would have liked to have seen Marshall use that piston-like jab more, and rather than kind of standing and trying to trade with Green, and we know she can do that, I think she should have just boxed her, kept her at long range. Do you know what I mean? Green is a little bit unorthodox, and so when you fight someone like that, you can get caught with kind of silly shots. Having said that, she is a bit of a puncher, to be fair. So yeah, I was kind of like, why you started trading with this girl? Do you know what I mean? But the final scorecards was a majority decision, 95-94, 96-93, 96-93. I think that's right. Yeah. In favour of Green. Yeah, so basically they're saying Green was 4 rounds ahead of Marshall. And I don't know if you clocked it, but when they were kind of announcing it, Savannah looked as if to say she knows she's going to get robbed. Yes, Savannah got caught with some good shots. Yes, she wobbled, but she recovered. And one thing to know is when Green throws hooks, she actually uses the inside of the glove sometimes. It was a scrappy affair and it wasn't easy to score, but I still had Savannah Marshall winning. In fact, I kind of had the score cards flipped around, and then I sort of started to doubt myself, and then I watched it again and I still think she won. Just as a side note, I swear there's got to be some sort of mute button in the comments section to stop casuals chatting doo-doo. I find it so annoying. I'm not going to lie, I think the scorecards were a little bit suspect, if I'm honest. And again, no disrespect to Shadeza, but, you know, I've known Savannah for a long time. I know what she's capable of. That wasn't her best performance last night, and I still thought she won. But listen, yeah, that's boxing, I guess. Do me a favour. A large number of people who watch this channel are still not subscribed. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we drop new content. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano for the undisputed super lightweight title. I actually like the fact that they were both really patient in the early rounds. I like Serrano at mid to long range. She was using the distance. She was a little bit more economical with the shots. Listen, we know she can do brute force, and we know that she can have a tear up close up. The headbutt allegations, I think they probably got into Taylor's head a little bit. I don't think they were intentional, but what I do like is they seem to have gone away and kind of done some work on that. And in contrast, I think that the threat of a potential head clash was kind of stopping Serrano being aggressive and maybe going through the gears a little bit. Some of the rounds were close, but something that Katie Taylor's really good at is she knows, she's aware of where she is in a round, and she kind of knows when to put a foot on the gas and take it off, and then she kind of applies that mad flurry of punches at the end of a round. So after the first 5 rounds, I had a 3-2 split in Taylor's favour. And even the official scorecards were stacked in Serrano's favour, with the outcome of the fight being a draw. I'd like to have a camera angle that actually has a bird's eye view so we can actually see which shots are connecting and which aren't. Because, like I say, it's very, very different when you're seeing something on screen to actually being there live, to actually being there kind of ringside. So on the official scorecards, you had one judge that had it a draw, and then you had the 2 other judges that had it, I think it was 97-93 in favour of Katie Taylor. And I think out of the 3 fights, this was kind of the clearest win for Katie. Some people were saying the fight was boring. Both ladies have put it on the line for us before, and they were just showing us a different look. I'm kind of torn because, if I'm honest, I would have preferred to have seen the Cameron Taylor trilogy rather than the Serrano Taylor trilogy, just because it was kind of one apiece. I wouldn't be mad if either Serrano or Katie Taylor hung up the gloves at this point. But then on the flip side, I kind of want to see the other fight, but I just think it's important. Health is wealth at the end of the day, and it don't matter how much money you've got. If you can't enjoy it later on down the line, then it's kind of all been a bit of a waste, hasn't it? That's just my opinion. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.